We're ready if Helen KTV. Thank you. All right. Well, welcome to this meeting of the West Haymarket JPA. I want to call it to order and introduce my distinguished colleagues. To my left is City Councilman Tom Beckius. To my right is Regent Tim Clare, although you might note that the councilman and I are repping the university today quite nicely.
Yes,
All
you
right.
are. Thank you very much.
This is a public meeting subject to the Open Meetings Act, and a copy of which is posted in the back of the chambers. In terms of the order of our business, the clerk will read each item on the agenda and staff will come forward to present. We will take public comment on each item if there is any, and if each speaker could please state their name and address, and note that their time is limited to 5 minutes per speaker. We would appreciate that. And with that said, would you please call the first item?
Item 3, approval of the minutes from the JPA meeting held April 29th, 2025.
So moved. Second.
All right, moved by Beckius, second by Claire. Any discussion of the minutes?
No.
All right, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire,
Yes.
motion carried 3-0. Next, item 4, approval of the payment register for April 2025 through July 2025, and review of the expenditure report as of July 31st, 2025.
Good afternoon, board members. So a payment register is included in your packet and in the supplemental materials for the meeting. Total payments for this period, 4 months ending July 31st, were just over $16 million, and that is in line with budget and the resolutions passed by the board. Some notable expenditures include debt service, capital investments, and routine operating repair and maintenance costs. They include $6.4 million of debt service. This was the interest payment on our bonds, the second of 2 payments planned in the fiscal year. About $1 million to District Energy Corporation. 75.6% is billed back to the customers. $1 million to parking services, and $2.8 million related to the scoreboard. $1.6 million to Mitsubishi Electric, and another $1.2 million to Daktronics. One thing to note that I want to note on the scoreboard is a charge on one of the last invoices for tariffs. I sent you a memo about this tariff charge several weeks ago, but we do have a final amount from Mitsubishi Electric on that now. The final amount charged by U.S. Borders and Customs was $231,000, and we are looking to negotiate that with Mitsubishi right now. So I'll share more on that as we get it.
So is that included then on the $1,569,000, or is it my $1,569,000 plus the $231,000?
Correct. It's not included as a payment because we didn't pay it. It would require an amendment of the resolution and an amendment of the budget when that time comes, when we would need to authorize that payment.
Okay.
On that item, I just want to say thank you for working to try to reduce it. I know the original cost estimate on that tariff, the original bill, was for even more. So thank you for trying to find the lowest price possible for the JPA.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, so finishing up the payment register, $1.85 million to 5 Nines for the network and Wi-Fi system upgrade. $1.5 million to the Sand Hills Global Youth Complex. That's the third of 6 payments authorized by the board. So the first batch of 3 that was authorized in the first resolution is now complete. And we'll be making the 4th one pending the terms of that agreement are met next April. I will note there as well, this is partially my confusion because I thought these terms applied this year. But in March, we did review the fundraising requirements in the agreement, and we determined that they were met and authorized that payment. Those fundraising agreements actually apply to the payment next April, but they've already met those, and we determined that this March.
Yeah. We talked about this the other day, but I think it'd be great if we could get Joe and his team, as well as somebody from the tourism, to talk about the number of tournaments and the impact that has had, i.e. Hotels. Obviously, it's hard to speculate what the revenue has been from restaurants, but if we can show the number of out-of-town teams that came to Lincoln that presumably stayed overnight here, I think that'd be great data to have, because I'm very excited, obviously, about the baseball.
Yeah, I agree. I know I believe Chris is kind of taking the lead on making sure we get that arranged for a future meeting.
Yeah.
All right. We also had approximately 1.1 million for payments to Pinnacle Bank Arena, and these were for the fourth operating agreement, some plan transfers, routine repair and maintenance, and then some items related to the interior and exterior lighting projects, the spotlight replacements, and the suite seat replacements. And those are the highlights from the payment register. The operating expenditure report, pages 12 and 13 of the supplemental materials. Really, my takeaway there is all of those items are in line with budget. The major categories there all show that. Total expenditures for the year,
I'm sorry,
You
Joe.
said page.
Where you said page 12? Where were
12 and 13 of the supplemental materials that are found online.
Okay.
I'll just put in a plug for having page numbers in the future. It would be nice in the packet, but
Okay.
Keep going, Joe.
yeah.
Okay, we will definitely get page numbers in the future. I apologize for that. And so it is called the operating expenditures report on the title page. But just a couple notes there. All of the major expenditure categories are on track, in line with budget. It looks to me like we'll have a small positive variance for expenditures for the end of the fiscal year. And then included in that operating expenditure report, there's some additional information. There's a statement of revenues and expenditures, and an income statement from Pinnacle Bank Arena to provide a more complete picture of the finances fiscal year to date.
Any questions? Any further questions?
And so let's presume, I see I don't know what page number this is, but it's the occupation tax summary.
Oh, page 7, sorry.
Okay. On that, it shows where we guesstimated we would be in 2044 is where the occupation tax is today, and where we guesstimate versus when we guesstimated it was going to be 2044 when we hit these same numbers. My question is, when we talked, you brought up the bond payments and the fact that we paid the interest. I think it was last time, I don't remember if it was you or your predecessor who said that we could go 2 years without collecting another dime of occupation tax, and we would be able to cover interest and principal on the bond payments. Is that still true today?
Yeah, I believe my predecessor was doing a calculation of cash on hand at a point in time, which was right around 46 million, and our total bond payments each year are 23 million, including principal and interest. So, yeah, that calculation still is true.
That's a great story to tell. Thanks, and thank you to the people who have been running the finances prior to that.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Joe.
All right,
Appreciate
we'll
it.
get those page numbers on there next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
It's a silly thing, but it helps us.
I can see why, yeah.
All right. At this time, if there's anyone here who would like to testify on these items, we'd be happy to take the testimony. All right, seeing none, I'd ask for a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Beckius, a second by Claire on the payment register. Any further discussion?
No.
Seeing none, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird,
Yes.
Beckius,
Yes.
Claire.
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 5, bill number WH 25-21, resolution approving the proposed operating budget and capital improvement program for the West Haymarket JPA for September 1, 2025 through August 31, 2026.
Welcome back.
Thank you. All right, so the next two they're pages 17 and 18 for those who have the supplemental material up online. But the 2 pages with the budget right after the resolution are what I'm going to refer to. So the proposed budget, it reflects sensible assumptions of revenue and expenditures, and it's based on historical data, and it funds investments in our West Haymarket JPA. These investments, they're carefully considered and informed by subject matter experts in our Parking Services Division, Pinnacle Bank Arena, and Project Control. I wanted to introduce them. They're here today. If you have some questions about some of the things in this budget that you feel like maybe they might know a little bit more about, feel free to ask them as well. Or I may lean on them just a little bit. Revenues is the first section of the budget. So the total revenue budgeted is increased by about 1%. Some of the assumptions used for budgeting for revenues, occupation tax receipts. You'll notice we have a little bit of an increase there. That assumption is based on a 2% increase over our current year projections, so where we expect to be at the end of this year. Our parking revenues are budgeted based on a 1.7% increase over current year projections. And you'll notice our miscellaneous revenue is down a bit, down $550,000. That's due to the operating increment that Pinnacle Bank Arena that we pay to them. In the past 2 years, they've been in a position to return that to the JPA. We discussed that as part of the budget process this year and did not include that segment in miscellaneous revenue. So that identifies just about all the increase. There's also a little bit of a change to the IMG college contractual payment as well. That's about $50,000 of it. The operating increment is the other $600,000. Any questions before I go to expenditures? Okay. On the expenditure side, your first section here is materials and supplies. Included in materials and supplies, you'll notice the bulk of that is minor equipment. So that's what I'll spend my time on here. $460,000 of that is the annual allotment to Pinnacle Bank Arena for essential equipment, for technology, security, and other operating functions there. Other items include replacement of the TV video walls in a few locations, new furniture for the outdoor Capitol Terrace, some additional and replacement of food and beverage equipment, some rolling risers that are original from Pershing that are worn out and need to be replaced. And then there's about $40,000 in carryover there from the prior year for the new website and a final payment that's due for that work. For other services and charges, so this is our broadest category in our West Haymarket JPA budget. It'll encompass day-to-day operating expenses and then various contractual agreements and pledges. Well, one pledge to the Lincoln Youth Baseball Complex. So including this in the category of miscellaneous contractual services, we have payments for things like payments to city staff, the city staff that support the JPA, the accounting, law, other finance, other functions, project management, basketball tickets, suites, and loge boxes. Those fees are considered there. The payments to DEC are in this category of thermal heating and cooling. That's 3.1 million of the total. Management services, including IMG guaranteed rights, the arena operating fee, and the operating increment, parking services, commercial services, and other building maintenance, including about 900,000 for PBA maintenance, inspection, and repair agreements. And that's in the other building maintenance line. About 900,000 of that, 890,000 of that is Pinnacle Bank Arena. The other 50,000 of that is for the Amtrak station. As I previously mentioned, the 1.5 million listed under transfer of funds is for the Sand Hills Global Youth Complex. Those are the major categories. There are some other kind of self-explanatory categories that are estimated based on historical data that I didn't want this to take too long, so I didn't read all of those. But any questions on that section before I move on to capital improvements?
Actually, quick question, because you were just
Yeah.
talking about other building maintenance, and on what I assume is page 19 online, the line item for other building maintenance, the current budget is at 1.6, and then it goes down to 937,000 in the next year's budget. Does that relate to, what is the decrease in maintenance relate to?
Yeah. Those are estimated
Like a
each
700,000.
year, so I may have to get back to you on that. 'Cause
That's
I don't
okay.
think I
It does
have
look
that
like it
handy.
fluctuates. The previous budget
Yeah.
was 424. Is this one of the more
It does.
fluctuating based on what's being replaced, or?
Yeah, I would just say last year's budget was much heavier on maintenance, repair, and capital investments, and this is a bit of a lighter year. So there is some year-to-year variability, but I will get you an answer on the specific variance. All right. Moving on to capital. So we've got two capital categories there. We've got equipment and improvements. I'll just cover the major items in both. So these categories, this category is really our capital investments, things that are capitalized and depreciated on our books. Estimates, we rely on those close to the operations and project control and parking services to get the best guesses of what needs to be done and what that cost is before we would put it out for a bid for any of these improvements. So on the parking side, we have 529,000 budgeted in parking. That'll be in the buildings line. Actually split 184,000 is in the equipment line for parking equipment, and the remainder of that 529,000 is in the buildings line for concrete repair and for the signs that light up on the parking garage for replacement cost of those. The other component of the capital, the other two components are, or the second component is for Pinnacle Bank Arena. And that's $2,421,000 of the capital in this budget. About 1.9 million of it is related to the Wi-Fi project. That's just getting wrapped up there at Pinnacle Bank Arena. And then we've identified about 6 other capital investments that are needed in the coming year. Those include electrical enhancements, some suite lobby furniture, and other enhancements in the suite area. That's actually a rollover from the past year. That's important to point out. It was in the past budget, but it hasn't been done yet, so it's carryover. The loading dock is significantly deteriorated, so there's $100,000 in there to repair the loading dock. There's $25,000 for rekeying the doors at Pinnacle Bank Arena to ensure security, since those are original keys. And then there's $70,000 for some additional storage space that's needed by the loading dock, and then $100,000 for maintaining our code for our fire alarms at the arena. The third component in capital outlay is related to grounds improvement, and that's about $1.3 million. 1.2 million. That includes funding for the Block 4 streetscape for Canopy Park, $600,000 for the Canopy renovation project, and then some lighting repairs and upgrades on the bridge and the plaza. Any questions on any of the capital items?
Joe,
Yeah.
could you, on the capital outlay for equipment number that we have listed at just north of 2.5 million, it looks like that we have itemization for 2 items there for just north of 200,000. Is there an itemization that we could also get in the not now,
Yeah.
in the future, as to where we think the rest of the 90% of that outlay is going to go?
You're
Or am I
talking the
missing it
200
somewhere?
The $259,000 for
I think
equipment?
it's a typo.
Well, I have
It says
2.5 million.
It's
I
259,381 in the numbers, but
Okay,
it's
so I
written
couldn't-
up
okay.
as
Oh,
2.559,381,000.
I was having trouble
I apologize for
reconciling
that.
that. Okay.
Good catch.
okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that typo. I didn't.
She's the one that caught it, not me.
Thank you for catching it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better,
Okay.
Joe, because I didn't
Yeah.
know where the other 90% of the 2.5 million was going. I was just curious.
It's your job to ask the question. I appreciate it.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you, Larry.
All right. So I'll wrap up with just a quick note on the debt service section. So debt service is budgeted based on our amortization tables at $23,185,515. The net debt service payment, including the Build America Back subsidies, is $19,871,846. We budget that here. We've got the revenue for that subsidy in the revenue section, and the total debt service payment down here is an expense below.
So what's our total blended rate then on our debt?
You know, that's a good question. Most of the coupon payments, they range between 2.4% up to 5%, depending on which ones we've refinanced. I can tell you the total principal outstanding is right at $283 million, and the total remaining term is out to 2045. But to get kind of a weighted average of those 5 series bonds,
Maybe, you don't need
I
to
could-
try to do it now, but maybe for our
Yeah.
next meeting, could you kind of give
I
us a
can.
blended rate? I mean, again, that's with the interest rate
Yeah.
where they are today, I'm not so sure that we wouldn't be in this great financial position without, if the rates were where they are today.
yeah, the JPA did take advantage of refinancing in, I want to say around 2021. So,
Right.
so a lot of those rates are much lower than what you would get today. I agree.
And then with the subsidy, that also, with the BABs, that helps the rate as well. So I'd like to know what the blended rate is on our our debt.
Okay, I'll get that for you.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, at this time, we take public comment on this item. Seeing none, I'd ask for a motion on item number 5.
Move approval of the proposed operating budget and capital improvement program for 2025, 2026. Beckius.
Second.
All right. Motion by Becky, a second by Claire. Any further discussion on the budget and CIP? Okay. Seeing none, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. The next item 6, bill number WH 25-22, resolution approving an amendment to agreement between the West Haymarket JPA and Project Control of Texas for construction management services for a term of September 1, 2025 through August 31st, 2026, with cost not to exceed $50,000.
Good afternoon, Chris Connolly, City Law Department. Before I get started, I want it noted that I too am celebrating the Huskers here today, okay? Plan to be there tonight. It's going to be a big weekend for PBA. It really is. It's going to be great. Okay, so this is the agreement that we do either annually or every other year or so with Project Control for the same kind of services that they've been doing for years for us, and they've been doing a wonderful job. Caleb is here if there's any particular questions, but it's been at 50,000 for a couple of years, I believe, and they haven't quite used up the entire amount, so felt like this was a reasonable amount to put it at again. So if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, I'll ask for approval.
Yeah. I would just say I appreciate Caleb and all of the work that he's done and his company's done.
Ditto.
Want to echo that? Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Would anyone like to testify on this item, the resolution of the amendment to the agreement between the JPA and Project Control? Seeing none?
Seeing none, I'll move approval.
I'll second.
All right, moved by Becky, second by Claire. Any further discussion among the board members? Oh, all right, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next item 7, bill number WH 25-23, resolution approving the letter agreement to engage Forvis Mazars to perform an audit of the West Haymarket JPA financial statements in accordance with the generally accepted auditing standards for the year ended August 31, 2025.
This is the same letter of engagement that we get every year from them. Their fees will be $26,460. And other than that, if you have any particular questions, try and answer them. Otherwise, I'll ask for approval.
Questions? Thank you. Would anyone like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none.
Seeing none, I'll move approval.
I'll second again.
Moved by Becky, a second by Claire. Any further discussion? All right, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next item 8, bill number WH 25-24, resolution approving an agreement for consulting services between the West Haymarket JPA and Sinclair Hilly Architects for facility ADA assessment for the Lincoln Amtrak station with cost not to exceed $5,750.
As you may recall, we had began discussions last year with Amtrak where they wanted us to take certain actions related to the station, and they've replaced the lights. And there's some other projects that they're anticipating doing in the next couple of years. Part of that is they did not demand, but they requested that we do an accessibility assessment of the station to make sure that we're still fully compliant with ADA. We're very confident that we are. But we felt like this would be appropriate to get this done and to confirm. And if there are some minor deficiencies, we'll get those taken care of. But in any event, we don't expect that we'll have to do this on any kind of an annual basis. But if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, ask for approval.
Questions? All right, no questions. Thank you. Would anyone like to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, ask for a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Moved by Claire, second by Beckius. Any further comments among the board members? All right, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. The next item 9, bill number WH25-25, resolution approving a contract between the West Haymarket JPA, City of Lincoln, Lancaster County, Nebraska, City of Lincoln, Lancaster County Public Building Commission, and Purple Wave for auctioneer services and related products.
This is one of a number of joint agreements that we have with the city and the county and the Public Building Commission. It has the advantage of providing some cost savings to us when we have to do some of these kinds of functions. We have no plans, there's no anticipation that we're going to actually auction anything, but we felt that everyone feels that it's prudent to go ahead and at least have them on board and have them tied into the same contract with the other entities that are here. Having said that, if there's any questions, I'll try and answer them. Otherwise, ask for approval.
Well, and I just want to make sure that this is fine, and I'm sure we get benefit for being involved with a lot of other parties. None of the expense obligations, though, come to the JPA unless it's for JPA business. Is that correct?
Correct. And of course, what would happen here is if we're auctioning off JPA equipment, if that's what we were to do, we would have a separate agreement with them, and they would get to keep a commission off the sales of each of those.
Per this agreement.
Per this agreement,
Right.
right, based on the terms that are set out in here.
Right.
And so there's no possibility or risk that it somehow would be going to the other entities, the city or the county or the PBC.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to note what Regent Claire was stating, that this has a zero cost to us unless we actually choose to exercise
correct.
those services, and which I think is great. And as Regent Claire mentioned, being able to be cost effective with other entities, but again, zero cost to us unless we choose to utilize
That
those
is correct.
services. Yep, thank you.
Great, thank you. Would anyone like to testify on this item? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Claire, seconded by Beckius. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried, 3-0. Next, item 10, bill number WH25-26, resolution approving the restated and amended agreement regarding endowment funds between the West Haymarket JPA and Lincoln Parks and Recreation Foundation.
So this is an item that was brought up for discussion some time ago, and there was a desire to expand the use of the endowment, projects and repairs and maintenance that could be done through the endowment. And so we've spent the last few months working through that, and we had prepared a draft, and we believe that this has the kind of expanded capacity, and it includes specifically the plaza area outside of Pinnacle Bank Arena. And so if the board would approve this, the next step would be to take this to the Parks Foundation as the keeper of the endowment, and we would then ask them to get it approved as well. So having said that, if there are any questions about the endowment that you might have, try to answer.
You made a change in our discussion. Caleb had a proposed change. I assume that got taken care of.
That was on the structure part, correct?
Right. It was in paragraph 3.
Right.
Regarding, pick up the sentence, historic locomotive engine 710 and tender care signage, decorative, pedestrian bridge,
Oh,
and then
yes. We need, yeah, and I did not get there should be a comma after the word bridge and again after the word structure. We will get that, I'll get that fixed. But yes, that's the change that we had talked about. So that it's more inclusive of the pedestrian bridge itself. And
Not
so
just the
repairs.
decorative elements of it.
Excuse me?
And not just the decorative elements
Correct,
of the bridge,
correct.
but actually the
Yes.
mechanical.
this is really important, I think, because when we initially set this up and put those monies aside, it was going to be used to help maintain the beautiful facility that we've got, right? But I think it was probably too restrictive in terms of there's things that happen with the facility that our prior agreement didn't pick up, and we wanted to make sure that at the time this group wanted to, our board wanted to make sure that these monies that we put aside from the JPA would not be used, say, for example, to mow Holmes Park. It was going to be used exclusively for JPA assets. And so I appreciate my colleagues agreeing to expand this to make it so it was not so limiting with respect to the JPA footprint, if you will. But I think now it's more encompassing, and it enables us to use the money, which is what it was set up for in the first place. And so I'm very appreciative of my colleagues and Chris's work in expanding this and making sure that we get this addressed, while at the same time it's going to be used for just West Haymarket
Correct.
assets.
Yes, that's correct. Any other questions?
Certainly are on board with this spirit, because that is what the JPA exists to protect and maintain, is the within the boundaries of the JPA. One question, now that we're adding commas, it's gonna be a little eats, shoots, and leaves situation here. If you originally read decorative pedestrian bridge elements, and now it's going to read decorative pedestrian bridge, comma, structure and elements, or comma and elements, do you need to take decorative out? Because it's not a decorative pedestrian bridge, it's a functioning pedestrian bridge. I think it was originally calling the elements decorative. Do you want to, or
We could
do you
do
move
that.
decorative to in front of elements
We
to
could do
be
that.
precise?
We
I
could
just-
strike that out. Just
I
strike
think, I
out.
think that's what you're saying. You want to make sure it's not just for decoration, it's the actual
That is
structural
correct.
pieces. So
That is correct.
you might want to take a look at moving
I
that
would
to
say,
modify the word elements.
Isn't the interior of those notable words, and that would be decorative. That doesn't have any function on
Right.
and we don't want to have that get broken, and
Oh.
and this doesn't enable us to fix it. These monies should be able to fix that. And so,
Yeah, if it just says pedestrian.
however you think it needs to be adjusted to enable that to happen is okay with me.
So if we modified this prior to signature, saying historic locomotive engine 710 and tender car, comma, signage, comma, pedestrian bridge, structure, comma, and elements, to me, elements could be left in there, could be taken out. I mean, it might be a little bit of belts and suspenders kind of a thing, but
I think to Regent Claire's points, if you want to be able to modify the interior as well as the exterior decorative elements, you might as well be specific about it, because the future regent and members of this board might just take it as just the basic infrastructure. And
okay, so,
comprehensive there.
and decorative elements then?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, very good. With those amendments, are there other questions?
No. Mm-mm.
Changes anyone would like to make? And so what we can do, if approved, we could go back upstairs and make those changes and bring it back and figure out how to get signatures from everybody.
Sounds good?
Yep.
Does that satisfy you, Regent
Yeah.
Claire?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris. All right, at this time, I think we're ready to offer the opportunity of anyone in the public to speak on item 10. All right, seeing none, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Claire, seconded by Beckius. Any further discussion? For all your work on this, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 11, bill number WH 25-27. Resolution approving an agreement for engineering services between the West Haymarket JPA and Olson for semi-annual inspections in accordance with the West Haymarket redevelopment site north and south, O&M plans, and limited on-call soil sampling for an amount not to exceed $14,000.
This is an agreement we've had Olson doing for us for many years, doing environmental monitoring for us. Prior agreements have been $13,000, it's now up to $14,000, but they're still doing the same kinds of work. We felt like the increase was acceptable, and so if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Otherwise, I would ask for approval.
No question.
No questions. Thank you, Chris. Would anyone like to speak on this item? All right. Seeing none.
No, move approval.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and second that.
Yeah.
Moved
I
by
thought maybe you were
Becky.
getting tired.
We're doing some heavy lifting up here today. Seconded by Claire. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 12, bill number WH 25-28, resolution to approve an amendment to memorandum of understanding between the West Haymarket JPA, City of Lincoln, Lancaster County, City of Lincoln, Lancaster County Public Building Commission, and Voss Electric Company, DBA Voss Lighting, for electrical equipment, bulbs and ballasts for the Pinnacle Bank Arena pursuant to MOU 186 for an additional term through February 28th, 2026, for an amount not to exceed $60,000.
Similar to the auctioneering agreement, this is a cooperative agreement. It involves the city, the county, and the PBC as well. And just like with the auctioneering agreement, there will not be any expense to the JPA except for its own costs. It's a cooperative agreement, which means that the JPA can go in and just buy off of the equipment lists that they may have at the prices that were negotiated as part of the deal for all the entities, and then just buy off that contract. And I'm sure we have some savings. I couldn't tell you what they are, but in any event, this is a way of trying to save some money for the JPA. If you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
No question, Chris, but a comment. As we have gone through substantial renovation and improvements on the arena physically over the last couple of years, and as we start to trail off of that a little bit, it would be perhaps an interesting exercise for someone to spend a little bit of time when we talk about lighting, when we talk about HVAC upgrades, what have you, to see while the nature of these upgrades naturally make it more energy efficient, it would be interesting to see how far the building has come through, when we get to the end of these upgrade processes, to see how far the building has come in energy efficiency, what have you, through this process as well. Because oftentimes we speak of this through simply the lens of cost savings, which we will also gain in ongoing maintenance costs as well, which is great. But as Regent Claire was mentioning, stories to share, that could also be a story to share as well in terms of how upkeep of this particular structure, the story that it shares with reduced costs when it comes to simply operating the building, but also the efficiency of the building as well, and how that's been changed through these upgrades as we start to finish those major upgrades off in the next couple of years.
And it's possible to, I'm sure, to get an engineering study to go back and look at the original equipment that was put into the building, and looking at the energy bills from that time, and then following it forward. I'm guessing there's probably a way to do that to the dollar if the board wishes to do something like that. So you can let me know whether or not that's something you want to do, and we'll certainly follow up. In the meantime, I can certainly have conversations with Tim Savona and maybe some others to see if there's sort of a less complicated and perhaps less expensive way to put some kind of a handle on what that efficiency improvement has been over the years.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. That I hadn't thought about that, but that's you're spot on. I think it would be, if possible, if we're talking about what's the blended rate for our debt, just some of those things I think that are good stories. That would be a great thing at the end of the year to have that discussion as well.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Would anyone like to testify on item 12? All right, seeing none, I entertain a motion on this resolution.
Move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, moved by Becky, a second by Claire. Any further discussion? All right, please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 13, bill number WH 25-29, Resolution approving a contract between the West Haymarket JPA and 5 Nines for information technology maintenance and operations services at the Pinnacle Bank Arena for a term of 5 years for an amount not to exceed $371,400.
5 Nines has installed the new Wi-Fi system, which I understand is operating very well now. And they've had some, leading into the basketball or the volleyball tournament here, they had a good opportunity to kind of get some practice with it at the Creed concert a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
And so that was because that was over 10,000 people there, so that was a good opportunity to kind of test the system. So this is the other part of what 5 Nines does for us. They operate and do the maintenance for basically the technology in the whole building. And so this is an agreement for 5 years at $371,400. They've been doing a very good job of maintaining and operating things for us. And so if you have questions, I'll be happy to try and answer. Otherwise, I'll ask for approval.
Any questions?
No questions. Just want to highlight this 5-year contract for $371. It's great pricing, and it's nice that it's a Lincoln company too.
Right.
So
Good call.
Right. Thank you. Would anyone care to testify on item 13? All right, seeing none.
move approval.
Second.
Moved by Beckius, seconded by Claire. Any further discussion? Okay, thank you. Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes.
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Motion carried 3-0. Next, item 14. The next meeting date will be held Friday, December 19th, 2025 at 2:30 PM here in council chambers.
All right, at this time we could have a motion to adjourn.
Move adjournment. Oh.
Motion to adjourn moved by Beckius and seconded by Claire. Please call the roll.
Gaylor Baird?
Yes,
Beckius?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
we are adjourned.